field service in particular has always been viewed as a cost center, and it's slowly been a change to view it as a profit center. So it's how do we leverage some of these AI capabilities to help turn it more into a profit center, including we've got an example of a customer where we are using cameras to view anomalies of equipment.
Hello, and welcome to Dynaway Dialogues. I'm Jesse Zadanek. Glad to host you again today. We're honored to have Dan Cefaratti, North American Field Service Lead at Velrada, and really glad to have him here. He's their Microsoft cross-platform organization working with Power Platform, Dynamics 365, Azure, Workplace, Fabric, just a lot of things in the Microsoft ecosystem, and they deliver for their customers. So I'm real happy to have Dan and his 20-year experience here with us today. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks, Jesse. Excited to be here. Excited for the partnership, and looking forward to Dynaway Connect.
Good. So you've been in the field service game for a long time. Just give us a little bit about your background. What kind of sparked your interest in that field? How you got into it? Tell us where you came from.
Yeah, so oddly enough, I started out as a cost accountant, shortly after college. And after doing some financial implementations, hooked up with a partner called Ibis way back in the early 2000s. And
I'm familiar.
Those guys wrote the field service modules for Great Plains and sold them to Great Plains. Mm-hmm. And it was at that point that I kind of found it was that perfect marriage between some of the back office accounting and, front office CRM, where CRM was taken off. They had the GPSFO for the Great Plains Siebel front office. And so one of the exciting parts was I got to dabble into CRM and really dove into CRM from there. And so I kind of refer to myself as a recovering accountant because I've then kind of migrated over to the field service side of the house. But it does have the perfect blend between, dealing with the front office as well as, the fun part of the back office when it gets into inventory and assets and asset management.
Were there like a kind of a pivotal project or role or something that you did that sort of, got your career kickstarted or made you kind of think, hey, this is for me?
I really think it was the team that I was working with. So I give a lot of credit to David Humphreys, who's kind of been a mentor of mine. He's over at Microsoft today, but really him and some of the team at Ibis, learning things from there. But some of the innovation that went with it. And oddly enough, I think a big thing that helped kind of start some of the transformation was the smartphone or the iPhone.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges is technicians out in the field being able to, get rid of paper, pen, pencil, to keep track of their work orders. And so that slowly became the impetus of change as far as the digital transformation for field services. How do we easily capture the information out in the field?
Gotcha. That's fantastic. Well, not all of our listeners probably kind of are terribly familiar with field service. For those who don't kind of get it or it clicks right off the bat, tell us what Velrada's mission is and what you focus on.
Yeah, so from a Velrada perspective, we're focused on asset-intensive industries. And what that means is anybody who produces an asset, services an asset, and so that falls under manufacturing, aftermarket service, oil and gas, facilities maintenance, essentially anybody working on a piece of equipment. People sometimes, how do you describe field service? It's, if you think of, somebody to install or set up cable at your home or perform a fix on your HVAC unit, that's really service in a nutshell. If you think about that entire life cycle of calling up, requesting the information, or you've got a problem with something, to that person coming out and fixing it and solving the problem from there.
Excellent. Give us an example of a project you worked on that was successful, or you felt like was uh, really impactful for the customer.
Oh, over the years, it's been a few. Way back when was a company called Medic, which
Mm,
helped them by implementing a field service solution, help them achieve their goal of getting bought and sold.
mm,
Um, all the way up to recently, one of the ones that was one of our, we've got a couple of standout projects for us. One is Sodexo, that has done complete end to end, both on the CE side or CRM side of the house,
mm,
complete CRM capabilities, field service, all the way through to integrated back office finance and operations within the Dynamics world. The same with the Legion here in Indianapolis area. So
mm.
they're a manufacturer of doors for large facilities, and manufacturing, installation, and service of those. So both of those are really great success projects for us, which really combines both the front and the back office in a nice, tight, integrated solution.
That's fantastic. I know that you guys are on the cutting edge of Copilot, Microsoft Copilot Studio, tools you use. Help us kind of understand. Could you explain how those solutions help your customers and what you kind of foresee?
Copilot is really catching off with Microsoft,
Yeah.
and some of our customers. Just some of the things, to get folks started, is some of the things that they're on some of the screens that you're into, just kind of giving a nice summary of an account, a nice summary of the work order. That then dovetails out to the field. So if you
Mm,
think of the technician, they're completing their work order, you know, how can you minimize the number of times you've got to put your fingers on the device to summarize the work order, summarize the work that you did? And that's where Copilot, and even AI can, manage all of the work that you may have done with minimal interaction with the device itself.
mm. Fantastic. Yeah, that's you obviously want as low touch as you can get, but still capture information and make it transferable to other people. I know when people are trying to read um, my nomenclature and my shorthand, it can be it can be a little hard sometimes. And AI actually helps me in my job as well. So I can rephrase stuff, I can rewrite it, and it's amazing. It's truly amazing.
The other thing to that too, though, is just from a knowledge standpoint.
Hmm.
So if you're stuck out there and you have questions, to be able to drop in a couple of keywords and then surface while you're out on the field. So ultimately, to help increase your first time fix rates,
Mm,
reduce the need to potentially send somebody else out there. Those are all the things that, let the tech focus on getting the job done so they can get on to the next job without having to worry about all the admin and minutia that goes into, creating and completing a work order.
yeah, of course. That's very insightful. Yeah. Um, of course, Velrada and Dynaway have a new partnership. We're excited about it. I'd love to talk about that just a little bit. How do you see this partnership kind of enhancing a value for your customers, and what do you see going forward?
Well, one of the things that attracted me to Velrada is the focus on the asset. So
Hmm.
people
Yeah.
would sometimes refer to me as the asset man. So, but it's when it comes to service, it's really all about the asset. There's some
Hmm.
other organizations that focus on, the work order or getting somebody out to the location. You're in the business because of that piece of equipment that's out there.
Hmm.
That being said, that's where Dynaway has had a strong focus, around asset management and understanding the importance of that piece of equipment and everything that goes with it. And so having this partnership, I mean, the beginning was when Microsoft acquired EAM from Dynaway as part
Hmm.
of F&O. And I think what's really exciting about this is now the capabilities to also have this with Business Central. So I see Business Central as a huge opportunity as SL, GP, NAV are, kind of, being sunsetted over the next few years, an opportunity for a fantastic product like Business Central to take advantage of what Dynaway has to offer. And not to mention some of the other pieces that did not go with the Microsoft purchase that customers can take advantage of. So from myself and from Velrada's perspective, we're really excited to dive into those areas.
Yeah, yeah, we're excited as well, and glad to have you as a partner in our network. So it is an exciting time both on the F&O and on the BC side. So thanks for joining. Let's talk a little bit about AI. I know it's a buzzword everywhere. From your perspective, what do you see really changing? We talked about it a little bit, but do you see big leaps in the next few years for AI in the field?
I do. It's kind of growing exponentially. It sort of reminds me of, when IoT was the big thing.
Right.
Customers were somewhat slow to adopt it. I see that being, in fact, they're still a little bit slow to adopt it. But I think with AI and the capabilities with Copilot, what Microsoft has done is they've just really embedded that technology in the product. So rather than having to say, oh, you're using Copilot or you're using AI, it's just surfacing itself to the end user. And I think what Microsoft is doing as well is incorporating more of that into the product of, daily capabilities, daily functionality, where folks are taking advantage of it, not totally realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
The exciting part is next leaps going forward when it comes to things like, how do we integrate it with other systems? So how do you create some custom Copilot? So get the users used to some of the basics. Now you're using it like, hey, how can we now take this, integrate it with maybe a specific knowledge base or a separate system that you might have and bring it all together under one roof?
Mm. Yeah, it's good. You're right. There are going to be significant steps going forward. What about in scheduling for field service? Do you see AI used now in scheduling, or maybe in the next couple of years it will become big in scheduling? How does it differ from traditional planning?
So I think, I think Microsoft that's their big next step when it comes to scheduling. They already have resource scheduling optimization. I believe
Mm-hmm.
in this release they've got coming out this month of April. They're incorporating more and more of that capability into scheduling. So if you're on a work order, it's automatically surfacing up a set of technicians who have the right skill set in the location, but also just outside, the regular box of, those items, it can take other things into account when it comes to scheduling. So things such as looking at your cost of the particular technician going out versus the cost of a contractor. Who's going to make the most sense when it comes into finding that right technician for a particular job? So,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're a remote location, it might be cheaper to leverage one of your contractors in the area versus one of your own people. But let's let the software figure that out versus, somebody who's trying to manually take a look at things.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. That's fantastic. I see that as well. What about on the technician side? How is their life going to be impacted coming up? We've talked about it again a little bit, but what do you see as impact in the field actually on the tablet or working with the customer?
Yeah, I think some of those is also bringing, if you're working on a job, bringing to light maybe, hey, is there another piece of equipment nearby that you want to take a look at that has a PM coming up?
Mm,
So being able to surface some of those things to, you know, maybe take away a visit that's due next week or the next couple of weeks for something that's regularly scheduled, provide that to them. At the same time, when it comes to taking a look at, hey, if I'm stuck on something, to be
yeah,
able to surface from a knowledge perspective without making phone calls or coming back and having a follow-on visit.
yeah. Do you see this being kind of a long-term 5+ year thing, or how quickly, like you said, IoT, there was some reluctance to adopt, at least initially. Do you see this being similar, or is it going to be a technology that's just gobbled up?
I don't see this going away. In fact,
Mm,
I see, you know, exponential growth or exponential capabilities that we haven't even thought of yet, to be able to go out and perform various tasks out there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Times ahead of here.
Yeah, gotcha. What are the, I guess, the restraints or the roadblocks in the way? Things like data quality, or I know legacy systems can be a big issue sometimes for some customers. What are the things that customers are going to have to kind of overcome to get there?
I think probably the biggest is, embracing change.
Mm.
In the field or in these organizations, embrace the change. Field service in particular has always been viewed as a cost center, and it's slowly been a change to view it as a profit center. So it's how do we leverage some of these AI capabilities to help turn it more into a profit center, including we've got an example of a customer where we are using cameras to view anomalies of equipment.
Good.
Right, so we're taking videos and seeing what's going on, and if there are any potential issues out there, to be able to record that and generate a work order. So I see a lot of that happening when it comes to monitoring equipment usage, and various trends. So even a combination of AI with IoT to help surface potential issues going forward.
Gotcha. So what's kind of the first step for customers? How can they sort of get started? Can they take a little bite, or is it one of these things you just have to jump into?
It it's really kind of easy to get started, particularly within Dynamics. So almost every screen that you open up, there's a little Copilot
Right.
button up in the top right hand corner. So a lot of it is just kind of getting used to that, seeing the information that it surfaces back to you. Start asking it questions, and the more you ask it, the more the system learns, and the more you'll get accustomed to it. Even adopting things just from an email perspective. So as it becomes part of your everyday life, it's a change to embrace and not necessarily to be afraid of.
Fantastic. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's switch gears a little bit. I know you've been really engaged and contributed to the Microsoft Field Service community for a long time. Since we're talking about the Connect conference coming up, you've obviously been at many conferences, seen a lot of things. What experiences have you found impactful in your career? How can we best take away from the community?
It's learning,
Yeah.
and I think that's the biggest thing with the community is talking with customers, networking with other partners. Even though in the Microsoft world we are competitors, but we're also at the same time we're on the same team. So leveraging Microsoft relationships, getting the ability to understand some of the latest and greatest coming out, but understanding what customers' needs are. And when it comes to this conference coming up, it's going to be my first, so I'm looking forward to a lot of customers who are using Dynaway and hearing their stories and why they have chosen Dynaway, so that I can take that and leverage it as we dive into our partnership here.
Yeah, Dynaway Connect's coming up. It's as we record this, it's about a month away, so I'm excited. The whole company is excited, and I think our customers are excited. So we're real glad to have you. That brings us to the end of our episode. I'm really excited for the conference coming up, Dan. I'm excited to meet you in person for the first time, and I just want to remind everyone out there, no matter what platform you're listening on, please like, subscribe, follow, and if you have any questions about the conference, you can get in touch with myself or go to our website, dynawayconnect.com, and look forward to seeing everyone there. And have a great week, everyone. See you next time on
Thanks.
Dynaway Dialogues.
Appreciate it.